Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Brand new Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays begins now. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insider Fabulous Fridays. Dan Marty, John Cena Sr. Johnny, we're another week closer to the big one. Saturday night, November the 13th, Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts. 2 decades of this great organization, Boston Wrestling MWF, as we go back to the 90s with the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Those VIP packages are flying along with general admission tickets over on bostonwrestling.com. I know you're going to be there. Are you going to have the Fabo Pop? You're going to have the hot sauce? I'm glad one of the two of us will be there to enjoy it, but it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a big night.
It'll be a huge night.
Live wrestling, autographs, post photos, VIP Q&A. VIPs have access to that big group photo with all of the legends at the same time. It's going to be, again, not a cookie cutter wrestling show. It is going to be an event that you will not soon forget.
Wow.
And I'm happy to be contributing and collaborating with you and everyone here in the Boston Wrestling family to make it happen, to give the fans a night they deserve.
Contributing and collaborating.
Yes. Isn't that what David Reese asked of you and I? To collaborate and work together to try and
I'm
give the fans the biggest and the best?
I'm going to keep those 2 words in the back of my head because I'm going back to Kanzagami. Let's see what I come up with this.
Well, he's been doing some collaborating.
I'm sure he has. But anyway,
and throughout
you're
his life,
absolutely
he's
right.
done, I'm sure, some interesting collaborating.
Well, you know what? I'm looking forward to this. I'm waiting to see the lineup. I'd like to see some of the matches that are going to be there. I, for one, personally can't wait because every show that MWF has had has been outstanding.
What I want to know is, Johnny, how many times are you going to hear, oh!
I don't know if Duggan's going to be hoeing or not, but once he sees, the crowd, I'm sure that we'll get that 3 or 4 times at least.
I think you're going to hear it all night.
Oh, I hope not.
But I'll say this. My concern is, Johnny, is that a certain individual who we will not name may hear it and take it the wrong way and have a trespass issued. But that's a different story for a different time. Jim is talking about his unique chant, not any individual person when he says that. Remember they did that with
Maybe that's why that trespass thing has been issued.
Remember they did
Be
that
kind.
They did that with Edge and Lita once on Raw. Remember that? When Jim came out and he gave it the old...
I remember.
But anyway, you know who I'm looking forward to seeing in ring, Johnny, is JTG. That man has never looked better. I mean, he has reinvented himself in his mid-30s, and I tell you, I think it's just a matter of time before he's on one of the national television shows again.
Who's his opponent?
TBA. I mean, right now we're still signing the contracts. We've been announcing different athletes that are going to be there, but I tell you this, and again, I only like to announce things once they are confirmed.
Finalized.
But on paper, it looks like an exceptional lineup of hungry young athletes competing inside that squared circle. But anyway, Johnny, talk about competing inside the squared circle. A lot happening in the world of professional wrestling. What about some of the buzz outside of the world of professional wrestling? One of the more popular shows, much like this one, is Vice TV's Dark Side of the Ring. A couple of episodes that really get people chatting of late. First, the Plane Ride from Hell episode. I don't know if you've had a chance to see that.
Oh, yes. I definitely watched that one. Old JR was right up front. He wished it never happened, wished he didn't have to talk about it. It was just an embarrassment, I think they did a great job producing that. However, I think that sometimes the dark side of the ring ends up being a dirt sheet. I think you could have told that story perhaps with less of the drugs, alcohol. You know, it really put a bad light on professional wrestling.
Well, to be fair, I think they were trying to tell an honest story. I think where they really missed the boat was their claims that Vince and Linda McMahon were on that plane.
Thank you. That was my next point. They were not on that flight.
No.
Then
I don't think it ever would have got to that point if they were on the plane.
If Vince and Linda were on that flight, the plane would have been grounded. But wait, JR said they were on the flight. If you look at that video, he says that they were up front.
I remember your friend Terry Runnels did, but number one,
no,
those shows, as we know, they're heavily edited. I mean, they probably did 40 hours worth of interviews for that one show. So maybe something might have been misunderstood or misconstrued, or two, where Jim Ross was on so many different flights, maybe he just didn't remember it accurately.
Well, he said that they were up front.
From what I know from people that were on it, there was no Vince and there was no Linda.
And Vince basically said, you're in charge of talent, go back and handle it.
No.
Well, all I'm telling you is watch it.
I watched it.
Well, no, watch it again and listen to what JR has to say. Because, you know, I was intrigued by the way that was handled. I was intrigued when they asked him about Flair, why they fired everybody else. And his comment was, I don't know. He got a pass.
Well, Goldust was just fine. He wasn't fired.
But the fact of the matter is, it's like Biden and the COVID. You know, why is Congress exempt? Why are the aides exempt? I thought, President Biden, we were all in this together. Why give them a pass? It's either all or nothing.
Well, then why wasn't Lesnar fired and Kurt Hennig was?
There's another question that's come out of it. There's another question that came out of it.
Maybe Kurt provoked it, sure, but at the same time,
well,
they got into a tussle that went up against the exit door on an airplane that I wouldn't want it to have seen open.
Let me tell you, first of all, you have no idea how difficult it is to get that door open.
Okay,
that's number
fair
one.
enough.
That's number one.
I've never tried to open one, thank God.
Talk to anybody that's a pilot or any of the young men and women who serve as flight attendants. It takes a lot to open that door. So that bump and shit really wouldn't have opened that door.
So those two wrestling each other up against the door was of no danger.
It would. You literally have to get that handle down. You got to literally get it down, and it pops. There's no way, absolutely no way.
Okay, fair enough.
So I think the thing that I don't like is everybody that was involved should have received some type of retribution because they were all guilty. And when you've got the man himself, Flair, who I work several shows with, and I have nothing but respect for, if in fact, and I don't think Heidi, who was the flight attendant, has any reason to lie, because why would WWE settle with her? I think there should have been some type of retribution. I'm not saying fire Flair. Well, look, I get plenty of skeletons in my closet just like you do. That's why I say, don't throw the bones out to anybody else's faces. Don't piss in the wind. So I think...
Have you ever gone down the center of an airplane in a robe, nude underneath?
No, nor would I do that. I think at some point, and I think the point that was made on this flight from hell is when the alcohol and the drugs became involved. Mike Chioda was very candid and open about it. JR was very candid and open about it. RVD, you just have to listen and you go, holy mackerel. Yeah, it was a long flight. But first of all, why was this stuff permitted to be on the plane to start with? Why did they not control the flow of alcohol?
Too much booze. Way too much booze.
And if Linda and Vince were on that airplane, all I know is that several of the talents said they were. You say they weren't. I said the same thing you did. If they were on that plane, that thing would have been on the ground. There's no, when they couldn't, because they were over water. Over water. So how could Vince say, land it? No, it ain't going to work. Not unless it's a submarine.
But they had, well, as noted, it was a little rambunctious even before it took off. But they had that company jet back then in 2000 and was it May of 2002? They had the company plane. So a lot of the executives, you know, they would go back ASAP.
Yeah, but maybe he chose this time to go back with the talent. So
I'm going to bet you $1 that him and Linda weren't on that plane.
I'd have to see proof of that.
Okay.
And that would have to come out.
Well, I
of,
guess we'd have to get the manifesto. I don't know.
that would have to come out of Vince's mouth.
All right.
To say that he wasn't on that flight.
Do you think he should make a comment about this?
Yes, absolutely. You should make a comment on that because it's a black mark on all of us in this business. All of us in this business, indie, big time, whatever you want. It's a black mark. And you know what? Don't think that it only happens on the top level in the business. It starts at the bottom and works its way to the top. So you know what? I just think that somebody needs to say something.
From what I remember, there was an emergency meeting the day of the TV taping, and that was the first time Vince was able to interact with those that were on the plane. You know who might be a good person to ask would be Jerry Briscoe, because he was on it, and I'm sure he would remember. Yeah.
Why not?
But
why would JR say he was up front?
Maybe, like I said, maybe he just remembered it wrong. I'm not trying to say he was intentionally trying to cause trouble.
JR's got a mind like a steel trap. And well, he does. And there are things that he wants to talk about. He wasn't too happy about this one.
No, he was not. And who would be?
The Michael Hayes stuff, cutting off the ponytail? Come on.
That's kiddie stuff.
Yeah, but that's not even funny. It's stupid. It's stupid. And to allow that to happen, and you not be able to control your own roster? Come on.
Look at how it started, though. Hayes went up and punched your buddy JBL in the face and busted him open from a cut that was already trying to heal itself. How many executives would go up and punch one of their someone that works for them in the face?
Oh, I know some that would.
Who?
Oh, I know. Well, I've worked plenty of jobs.
All right.
Let me tell you.
Well, then I sit corrected, I should say. I just, very interesting episode overall.
Oh, I thought it was very interesting, very eye-opening. The ending was, I think, appropriate. No female or male should ever have to go through that type of embarrassment or pressure. There is no place in that world for that kind of display or attitude. It just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't. How would it be if it was your daughter or your son? So I think that's the thing you have to think about. Alcohol or not, most of us know when we're nearing, I've had enough. Stop. Kyoto slept with a hat and glasses. Why? Because if they try to take your glasses or your hat, you'd wake up.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, it is, but you know what?
It's unfortunate,
That's
but
like
it's
go
smart.
to sleep with a gun.
Right, yeah.
No,
well, let me ask you this, Johnny, as we're running out of time in this segment. While it can be debated, were Vince, were Linda on the plane, were they not? Someone that was on the plane, and certainly I would consider the leader of the locker room at that time, Stone Cold Steve Austin was up in first class with Deborah. Do you think at some point maybe Steve should have stepped up and said, guys, enough of the bullshit? I think they would have listened to him.
You know, I'm only going to say
Or do you think he was more worried about guarding the puppies? Because she was with him.
No. You know, I tell this to people all the time. In the ring, what you see, that's the real Austin. There's no two ways about it. He's a badass. And I mean that in a good way. He'll stand up for what he believes in. He'll fight for what he believes in. I have nothing but respect. He's a gentleman.
And neither do I.
He's a gentleman.
I agree with you 110%.
But at the same time, you sit back and say to yourself, if I go back there, what's going to happen? You know what? I'm not the leader of the locker room. Maybe it was JBL that was leader of the locker room. Maybe it was, who knows, Michael Hayes, who knows? The fact
well, Austin was the top dog.
I understand that. He was the top draw, but the fact of the matter is, I'm in a different location than you are, and it's not going on here. What's happening back there is, you know, it cost my friend, my very good friend, his job on Impact for the comments that he made. You know, again, be sure your brain is in gear before you put your mouth in motion. No thought process there.
And you know what? Not that it's cost Tommy Dreamer his job. He's been suspended at this point.
It's cost him.
Do you think that if you were Impact, would you ask Vice TV to see the unedited footage before you make a decision like that.
Absolutely.
Because anything is, you know, with even productions down here, if we really wanted to, we could manipulate almost any verbiage we wanted to fit a narrative we were looking to. If I'm Impact, I would want to see the unedited footage of what Tommy Dreamer had to say and then make my decision. Not to say that he's innocent, but I would want to see the unedited footage.
Regardless of what you see.
That's only fair.
Yeah, but regardless of what you see, it's the comment that was made.
But you don't know
basically,
in what context it was even made.
It doesn't make a difference.
That was where they edited it and chose to include it.
But the words are there. You don't endorse sexual harassment. You don't do that.
But who knows what question they asked him leading into it?
I would assume, and it's only an assumption,
that's why I
which
say
makes
the
an ass out of
unedited
you and me.
Right.
I would assume that when you look at what's there, the question is relevant. Chioda answered almost the same way. Nothing's happened to Mike Chioda. I guess he's not working anywhere.
He's not working anywhere, right?
Well,
do you think that it's perhaps hurt the chance of Space Mountain going for a ride to AEW? Could you imagine Tony Khan, where he's knocked the Hogans so bad and banned them from the company that he'd bring in Ric Flair after this allegation, at the very least, has been brought to light on a nationally televised broadcast about Space Mountain?
I think that you really have to sit and review and use some good thought process here. You know, there are a lot of people on television that probably have done the same thing Ric Flair has done.
That have run down airplanes nude with a wrestling robe on?
Could be even worse.
Really?
The only thing I'm saying is it hasn't been publicized. I think the thing that was wrong, and maybe I'll get in trouble, but you never say, like Bill Clinton, I never had sex with that woman. You'd be better off to sit here and say, yep, I was an asshole on that flight from hell. I really didn't. It was the alcohol. It wasn't me. Because, and I know that people in the business never forcibly put themselves on somebody unless they've popped some, had some, or are out to lunch. So, you know, alcohol is an enemy, not a friend. Socially, it's not even a friend, because you begin to say things and do things that you can't retract. And unfortunately, this was the situation, even though they reenacted some of the footage. It's a sad day in hell to see the flight from hell, because it tarnishes the business, all of us. It tarnishes the individuals. It doesn't do much for the owner of WWF, WWE. It doesn't do much, and as Jim Ross kept saying, it wasn't my job. It's not my job. Then you know what should have happened on that flight? You should have had friggin' security.
Interesting point. And it's Scott Hall's job never to return to WWE. And Mr. Perfect, unfortunately, it had passed less than a year later due to the cocaine overdose down in Florida.
And
so
your buddy Aldo Montoya,
he was on.
He was pushing out the wheelchair with Scott Hall on it, and he got canned for what? He said, hey, I'm just here. I'm helping the guy get through. Well, guess what?
The world of wrestling,
Ask
folks.
him about it.
You know what? We'll have to mention that.
When you bring him on his show, your show, there's a good one to cover. And he was there.
And Saturday night, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose during the Legends Q&A, the fans can ask him as well.
I don't know if I want those kinds of questions.
You don't know? Really?
I think that you'd be better off if you're going to do a segment with Just Incredible right here. Why not lay it on them?
Well, the fans are the ones that decide the questions.
Well, but no. I mean, we've raised a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
You're stating that you would rather see the full cut. I'm saying to you, Why not get somebody who was on the friggin' plane?
We'll put the unedited version on.
There you go.
All right, well, you know what? Very good point. All right, wrestling fans, right now, we're going to take a brief timeout. We come back, we'll be back with more Wrestling Insiders. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com. Now, if you're in the Northeast, get those tickets as we go back to the 90s, November the 13th in Melrose. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary, back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Sun Dome in Tampa, Florida, Saturday, October the 8th, 1994. In the opening contest, IRS beat the 1-2-3 Kid. The Bushwhackers with the win over Well Done. Lex Luger battled Tatanka to a double countout. Adam Bomb defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon retained the title over Owen Hart. The Smokin' Guns victorious over the Heavenly Bodies. Bob Holly beat Quang. WWF World Champion Bret Hitman Hart retained the title over Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And in the main event, The Undertaker with the win over Yokozuna in a casket match. If you were in Tampa live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now. Wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area, we want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders. Dan Marty, John Cena Sr. We talked a little bit about the plane ride from hell. Do you enjoy the Dark Side of the Ring series in general?
I do.
The episodes you have seen?
I truly do enjoy it. It's called the dark side for a reason. Let's not make it too dark. Let's bring out the facts. Let's make it an excellent documentary, which I think these two guys are doing a great job at. Sometimes this gets a little edgy.
Did you see the Canyon episode?
I did not.
With our friend Sinister Minister James Mitchell. I know you find him a little creepy.
I have not seen it.
Well, that's a very sad episode. Jim touched upon Canyon's issues in one of the Wrestling Insider episodes that are available in the archives that fans can enjoy from down at Wrestle House Week in Tampa when Jim joined us. He was very good friends with Canyon. That is one worth going out of your way to see.
Committed suicide.
Too. He did, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. So I think, if you get a chance, maybe that's another one from this current season that you may enjoy.
I'll watch that.
I'm really looking forward to the one on Luna Vachon, as I got to know her a little bit through the Cauliflower Alley Club and her bipolar issues that she had, or maybe it was even schizophrenia. I don't remember. Alondra Blaze teased it in the trailer for the second part of the third season about Luna's issues. But I know how she literally beat the hell out of a vice president, Oscar, in a hotel elevator over in Europe because Oscar was taking too long trying to remember what floor he was on. Luna jumped on him like almost an attack dog and kicked the shit out of Oscar over in Europe. So
that's a big man to beat up.
That's a big. Well, thank God, as Oscar said, thank God Earthquake was on the elevator because Earthquake pulled her off of him.
Well, you know what? I'm only going to say this.
Yeah.
I love Oscar, but sometimes we can blow up the balloon too big.
Well, now that was a couple of big balloons on that elevator.
You know what? If Luna Vachon wanted to destroy Oscar, trust me, I did 2 shows with that woman. She would have ripped him apart.
Well, you got to remember, Earthquake was about 6'7", 400 pounds. You don't think he could get Luna off of him?
I do indeed, but if she truly attacked Oscar and was pounding the living shit out of him, let me tell you something. He'd have been bloody and beat up pretty bad.
Well, you'll have to tune in to, or I guess check out this past Monday's Monday Night Mission when Oscar tells the story of how it went down from his recollection.
From his perspective.
From his perspective,
There you
yes.
go.
From his
There you
perspective.
go. We can't
Johnny,
get the other perspective.
well, unfortunately, no. I would have loved to have had Luna.
She is passed.
Would have loved to have had Luna. The whole Vachon family, one of the very, I don't think I'd use the term underrated families in wrestling, but maybe at this point forgotten where so many of them have passed. I know Paul the Butcher Vachon is still alive, but he's elderly up in, I believe he lives in the great state of Vermont.
Yes, he does.
Hopefully he is in good health, good spirits, however things may be for him right now. But Mad Dog Vachon, certainly the wild child of that family, wound up losing his leg. And Luna, obviously with her runs in WWF and WCW, very well remembered as well. But the Vachon, Vivian Vachon, was one of the mainstream female stars that passed away in a car crash in the early 90s. So one of the legendary families in this business, the Vachons. I look forward to that episode, not to publicize Dark Side of the Ring too much. We have so much of our own going on here in the world of Boston wrestling.
You might be able to compete.
You think so?
With Dark Side of the Ring?
Really? Well, we'll call us the underbelly. I don't know.
The what?
The underbelly of the ring. The light side of the ring.
How about Ringside Revelations?
Well, does this show have some revelations or what? We had the Iron Sheik reveal that he wanted to humble Brian Blair and that he used to do it on a regular basis as a form of punishment in Iran. We had the revelation that Marty Jannetty killed someone and rolled them in a river.
That's not true.
Well, that's what he said.
But he recanted that.
For a reason.
Yes.
We had the Tony Atlas revelations of what he watched down in Georgia.
Don't go there.
Well, I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm just talking about some of the...
That's good.
We've had revelations.
Nothing bad.
Kamala's revelation that he wished he never got into the industry, which I thought was sad.
I worked Kamala a couple of times. I mean, I personally didn't work him. I managed a wrestler. And at the end, obviously, the bad guy gets beat up.
Yeah.
What a great human being. That's all I can say.
Well,
it's a sad day to lose people like him.
We have had revelations on this show.
You definitely have some revelations.
Revelations. It's a great way to put it.
Kind of like a septic tank sometimes. You can really stir up the shit.
All you can do is ask questions, Johnny. You're not responsible for the answers.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Moving right along.
Well, I guess we disagree on that one then. What about AEW, Johnny? Fantastic things are happening in that company. It's almost as if they've, I don't want to say reinvented themselves the past 2 months, but maybe given a fresh coat of paint. A lot of the talent that, I don't want to call them garbage talent, but a lot of guys that maybe weren't ready for prime time, you're seeing a lot less of. And a lot of great, high-quality Major League bodies being brought in. First Andrade. Then you saw now Malachi, the former Aleister Black in WWE.
He's really scary.
You saw the seldom used Ruby Riott in WWE.
Yep.
Getting a fresh coat of paint in AEW is Ruby Soho.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan, a man that was part of the main event of WrestleMania this year. Baby Marty was going nuts live at Raymond James Stadium. Now he is, you talk about flipping the script, he's Bryan Danielson in AEW, going by his real name as opposed to his WWE given name. And the fans are thrilled to see him on their television screen again after a break from WWE. Adam Cole, baby, fresh from WWE NXT, is on the AEW screen, joining his buddies on television and off, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And then probably the coup de grace of them all, the biggest signee, CM Punk, setting record business for merchandise for them. So it is a very exciting time for AEW. I think in a lot of those cases, WWE helped them by allowing a lot of those talents to become available that were under contract to them. But it's made for a much more watchable, enjoyable show on Wednesday night for Dynamite. AEW Rampage, I sometimes have a tough time catching. I do like to go to my Red Sox games on Friday nights when they're at home at Fenway. Plus, we're getting ready for John Cena Sr.'s fabulous Friday nights. But not only do you have what we just mentioned, but a lot of talent that is still out there available now that will be available in the future. Again, right around Halloween, the end of the month, ends the no-compete clause of Bray Wyatt. So there could be even more to look forward to in the world of AEW.
I hope they snag him. I really do.
Yeah, what would you like to see them do with him? He can't be Bray Wyatt. He can't be The Fiend. What would you like to see them do with if they were to bring him in?
I am sure that they could create an Undertaker-like character with him. I would even see him partner up with Malachi, the dark side of the ring, if you want to put it that way. I think there's so much potential there to utilize him correctly. I'm sure one fan I was reading made a comment about CM Punk. Fox must have said to Vince McMahon, why the hell didn't you sign him? And you know what? I would definitely say that would be a real good question because Khan didn't like it, too much money. And I'm sure that Phil Brooks really didn't want to go back to WWE because I'm sure if he went back, it would be the same old, same old. And, and you can see it. I'll sign you. Now here's your money. Sit in your ass at home and do nothing. Revenge is horrible. Revenge is horrible.
Well, I'll say this, Johnny. CM Punk said he didn't even give WWE a chance to counter the offer that was made by AEW. So he either must have been very comfortable with AEW or he just wanted nothing to do with WWE.
Well, CM Punk has made himself very clear several times because having had a chance to know him a little bit, he's very, very intelligent individual. And when he says it's not about the money, he's all about the business, enjoying it, being happy, being proud of what he does. And this time he proved it. It wasn't about the money. Who knows? They made it offer him $1. WWE is going to no, I'm being facetious.
No, I know.
But WWE is going to offer him $10. I don't want it. I'm not going back. It's, many people hear me say this all the time. I do a lot of weddings. And they'll go, wow, that's your fee? It's not about the money. It isn't about the money. It's about meeting solid couples, putting them together, hopefully for life, and enjoying what I do. Not about the money. And I think that's where it stands with CM Punk.
Well, let me ask you this. If you are Fox or if you are USA Network and you are paying WWE all of this money for Raw and SmackDown each week to see not only the ratings continue to go down, but for them, since the virus began back in the spring of 2020, to release 60 to 70 stars, at some point do you say, what the hell are you doing?
Yes, I think you do. Or you say, what's your price?
What do you mean?
Buy it. You buy it and run it yourself. Ultimately, I'm telling you,
I don't think Fox would want, well, I mean, there's a lot of logistics that would go into it, but do you think Fox would want to run an NBC-owned WWE on their network?
maybe NBC will buy it. Who knows? Maybe Fox will buy it and take it all over. I'm just looking at it from a businessman's standpoint. And to me, there's too many no-nos happening here. And I'm surprised
I'd be
Braun
furious
Strowman,
if I were those two networks.
Braun Strowman didn't go to AEW.
I don't think he's a good fit. I think he's too big. I think he's too big.
He's a giant.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you get Paul right there. So.
And this is a man that's only going to work a couple of times a year to begin with. So, I mean, I think Big Show in moderation is a really good thing. A couple times a year. I think Big Show weekly is way too much.
Yep.
But I think the rumors abound. Braun Strowman seems to almost make sense for Impact Wrestling. If AEW doesn't want him, if WWE doesn't want to bring him back, if AEW is willing to open the checkbook and Braun can do Japan and do maybe some big indies and big autograph signings, maybe it's not WWE money at the end of the year, but it could still be a very healthy living.
AEW or Impact?
Impact, if I didn't say that, that's what I meant. Oh, did I? Okay, Impact.
Impact. I would concur and agree on that. And you notice, I kind of follow this stuff pretty closely. Impact Wrestling's viewership rose.
Yeah, I mean, again, they are the company that cannot be killed. I mean, you know, we don't get it on TV, or at least I don't get AXS where I live. But from the pay-per-views that I've seen, from the names I've seen on their roster, I mean, they have a lot of quality bodies on there. They have some young indie guys on the rise. They have some young veterans. They have some grizzled veterans, so to speak. It's, you know, I think D'Lo Brown, as the head of talent relations, has done a good job.
Great guy.
We had 2 full days with D'Lo in Vegas. You're going to love it.
What a great guy.
You're going to love the interviews, Johnny. You're going to get down with the Brown.
I don't have Patreon. I won't.
Well, you don't have to be on patreon.com/Boston Wrestling to get the early full screen access to it. You can be like everybody else and enjoy it Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after AEW Dynamite on YouTube.
I'm at my other place in the islands. I don't.
You don't have the internet?
No.
Just have Majo.
No, not even her.
No Majo.
No more Majo.
Well, no more?
No more.
There was a split.
No.
You said no more. Wait a minute.
We're done.
Whoa. What happened?
She chose you over me.
No, not me.
Yeah, she did.
There's only one French individual I deal with on a daily basis, and it's not her.
Oh, there was never any Majo in me.
Did she ever move an '86 Boston Celtics picture on you?
Who?
Majo.
I don't even know. I don't even know this woman.
All right, wrestling fans, we're going to take a brief timeout. We'll be back to wrap up the show. Stand by. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston Wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
At Night of Champions 2020, Tribal Chief Roman Reigns successfully defended the WWE Universal Championship against his cousin, Jey Uso, in a must-see battle. Here is your chance to own a piece of Roman Reigns moments before battle on this beautiful limited edition autographed 11x14 poster direct from friends at WWE. It's number 19 of only 50 made. Includes WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Suitable for framing and matting. You'll also receive a bonus Legends autographed 8x10 photo in an on-air shout-out on Wrestling Insiders as our thanks for helping keep Wrestling Legends working. Get this ultra-rare Roman Reigns autograph poster now.
Cheer.
Why, hello. I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product, so support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. We had some fun on this show. Again, we've had so much content we've been producing with great Cauliflower Alley Club reunion footage and MWF Extra news and notes. And my gosh, there isn't going to be much sleep for this man between now and April 16th.
You?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm glued to this building 7 days a week. I took shaving cream and I wrote SOS on the window, and the cleaning women cleaned it. No one.
Same old shit, huh?
Well, that's not what I meant.
Oh,
but,
all right. I'm just
different story for a different time, Johnny.
I'm just trying to. Yeah.
Please. But things are looking up. AEW's certainly presenting a very watchable program right now. I would say, really, Impact has had a slight bump, as you noted, but really the only promotion in the country with big momentum behind it right now is AEW. You don't see any kind of momentum from Raw or SmackDown. Whatever momentum NXT had, it's been gone for several months, to be kind, if not longer than that. Ring of Honor is kind of DOA. New Japan in the United States, I don't know if there's ever really going to be that big of a market for it, where so many of the talents don't speak English. I think it's harder for them to follow it, where they can't follow the promos and things like that. One man's opinion.
That's why they have managers.
Well, you need a lot of managers, but it's an interesting time, Johnny, but none more interesting than, I'm telling you, and folks, there should be a documentary made about what's been going on behind the scenes about Saturday night, November the 13th, from the historic Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts.
Wow.
Let me tell you, if you guys could be a fly on the wall, day to day, minute to minute sometimes, it feels like. But we are going to celebrate 2 decades of Boston Wrestling MWF. We're going back to the 90s, November the 13th at Memorial Hall, downtown Melrose, 2 blocks that way, if you've ever been to this fine studio before. The VIP packages are flying, Johnny. The general admission tickets are going at bostonwrestling.com. Get your tickets now. Support regional independent wrestling. You're going to have the time of your life. Beyond the white hot in-ring action, you're going to have the Autograph and Photo Fan Fest, where you can meet and greet these superstars and legends. You're going to have a VIP exclusive Q&A session where you can talk to the legends and ask them the questions that are on your mind, like I question John Cena Sr. and all the other superstars we have here on a weekly basis. It is interactive and engaging at a level that is very different than attending a WWE event at the TD Garden or any other regional type wrestling show that I know of. So I know the fans are going to have the time of their lives. I know the Fabo Pop is going to be available. I know the Fabo Hot Sauce is going to be available. I know Fabo is going to be there, but he's not available because the lovely lady he is going to be with would not like that.
Moniz.
Yes, she would not like that.
She'll have her son Tommy.
We'd have maybe a female match in the ring if that happened.
A Spitfire from Brooklyn. Whoa.
And you know who's going to come out on the losing end of that one. In addition to that, it's going to be the kickoff to our Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. We're going to have a big merchandise raffle. We're going to have some silent auctions. There's going to be merchandise galore. There's just so many parts to this event. And again, you know what? You don't want to miss it. You don't want to be that one person on November 13th that can't be there. Believe me. Believe me. But again, tickets available at BostonWrestling.com. For John Cena Sr., I am Dan Marty. Again, we're cutting it short. So many meetings we have to take part in. What can we say? Be well, be healthy. Good night from Boston. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.